Hello and welcome to the Autoimmune Dietitian YouTube channel. My name is Annie. I'm a registered dietitian and I work with people struggling with autoimmune diseases. So in my work with my clients, I help them use both food and lifestyle as a way to reduce their symptoms and hopefully get their quality of life back. So today we are talking about AIP Reintroductions. If you're not familiar with AIP, it stands for the Autoimmune Protocol. And with any elimination diet like the AIP or the Autoimmune Protocol, they are hard, and removing foods for a period of time can totally disrupt your eating pattern and make it really hard for you to eat out and enjoy foods socially. Luckily, most elimination diets are short-term, so it always surprises me when I see people getting stuck on the AIP elimination phase for a long period of time. Reintroducing food back into your diet is the most important part of the autoimmune protocol, and it's probably the part of the protocol that is the hardest and most confusing for people. So here's a rundown of how it works, how to successfully reintroduce foods, and how to troubleshoot when things seem difficult. So before I jump in, I need to attach a disclaimer to this video that the information in today's talk is not the substitute for the diagnosis, treatment, or care of disease by a medical provider. This is for informational purposes only. So please consult your qualified health professional for any changes you make to your medical care. Okay, so why are reintroductions important? So like I said, elimination diets are meant to be short-term, especially with one that is so restrictive as the autoimmune protocol. And we use these diets as part of an overall gut healing protocol called the 5 R's. The R's stand for remove, replace, repair, reinoculate, and rebalance. So the remove phase is what we are focusing on with these types of diets, removing things that are causing inflammation, damage, or stress to the body and gut. So once you remove these harmful things, the body has time and energy to heal, and ideally inflammation will drop. And this drop in inflammation does make you more sensitive to things. So when reintroductions do happen, your body tends to react faster, which is great, which is what we want. And by going through the reintroduction process, it allows you to first figure out which foods trigger inflammation and/or a reaction for you. And second, expand your diet. This is huge because remember, the AIP and the autoimmune protocol is all about nutrient density eating. And the more variety you have with the foods that make you feel good, the more options you have for getting more nutrients into your body. So when do you reintroduce foods? And this can be difficult to know when you should start this process. And this is when a symptom journal can be really helpful. You should start tracking symptoms when you start AIP using objective measures like a number scale. And it is important because sometimes symptom improvement isn't as obvious. And once you see these symptoms improving and you do feel improvement, that is when you can start reintroducing. Some people call it a baseline. I simply tell people to wait until they feel significantly better. This usually takes anywhere from around 1 to 3 months. And if symptoms are not improving after 3 months, then it's time to seek other treatment options. For some people, diet is not the root cause. So how do you reintroduce foods? So the autoimmune protocol has broken down the removed foods into 4 phases. And when you start reintroducing foods, you want to start with any of the foods in phase 1. This will differ depending on which AIP you are following, either the core or the modified. So reintroducing foods takes a bit of planning and organization. You must also be methodical in your tracking and observing. The recommended reintroduction process is as follows. So pick your food to reintroduce and eat a half a teaspoon of it and wait 15 minutes. If no reaction, eat 1 teaspoon and wait another 15 minutes. If no reaction, eat 1.5 teaspoons and then wait 2 to 3 hours. If no reaction occurs, eat a normal portion of food and then wait 3 to 5 days, meaning you don't try the food again for those 3 to 5 days. This is because some reactions are delayed, and we are trying to minimize the magnitude of delayed reactions here. So again, if you don't have a reaction, you can add that food into your normal eating pattern and move on to the next one. If you do have a reaction at any point, you need to stop eating that food and wait until you've gotten back to your baseline before trying another food. So yes, this is a very, very tedious process, as you can tell, but it does really help pinpoint what your specific food problems are at this point in time. And remember, as your gut and your body heal, your tolerance to food will increase. So foods that don't work initially may work in, say, 3 to 6 months, or even shorter, maybe a couple weeks. So you must keep trying to add these foods. Do not cross them off forever. In addition, some foods are dose dependent. So eating a little here and there is fine, but having a lot of that specific food might not be good for you. And this is why journaling really helps you pinpoint those patterns. Okay, so here are some problems that I've come across with AIP, and here is how to possibly approach them. So the first problem is I've tried to reintroduce foods, but I don't tolerate anything. So first, I would make sure that you've waited until you hit baseline before reintroducing. Believe me, people get impatient with this process because it is hard to stick to. So you do want to make sure that you are feeling a lot better. Second, check in with yourself about your current lifestyle trends. Are you getting enough sleep? How's your stress level? Are you moving your body? All of these affect your digestive process, and if they are not optimal, it could affect your reintroductions. Also, notice if adding in foods is causing you to be anxious. It is completely normal that it might, as a lot of people worry about having reactions after feeling a lot better, and they don't want to return to their old self. Doing some breathing exercises before reintroductions can help. Second issue, I started with phase 1 and I didn't tolerate a couple of things, so I stopped progressing. So many people assume that if they can't tolerate all the foods in stage 1, then they should stop reintroducing foods in later phases. This is an incorrect assumption. If you've gone through all the foods in stage 1 and found maybe 1 or 2 that you don't tolerate, that is fine. Move on to stage 2. The one caveat are food families, so specifically dairy. If you try ghee and that did not go well, it is unlikely that butter will work for you too. But that doesn't mean that you can't try it. So, I do say try everything. Another example, I tried tomatoes and they are fine, but then I had tomato sauce and reacted. Should I cut out all tomatoes? So like I mentioned before, there's something called dose dependence, meaning some foods in smaller doses are okay, but in larger doses, they overload the system. So in addition, you also may find that you tolerate raw versus cooked or vice versa. Again, this is why we need to experiment with foods and continue to try foods in different forms to see what we tolerate best. It's kind of like feeding a toddler. They might like cooked carrots and not raw carrots. So again, it's really playing around with your body and what it needs and to see what you tolerate. Pressure cooking is actually one way that helps improve tolerance for certain foods. So again, it's time to be curious and enjoy this process to maximize your food options. So just to recap, today we focused on AIP reintroductions, why they're important, how to do it, when to do it, and some issues that you might come across. So if you would like more help managing your autoimmune disease or your inflammatory issue, I would love to chat with you. I offer free 15-minute discovery calls to learn about your goals. So you can go to the link in my YouTube profile and click on that to schedule a call. While you're there, you'll also see my link for my weekly newsletter that comes out every Thursday morning. You can always subscribe and then unsubscribe if you don't find it helpful. You will not hurt my feelings. I've got a lot of free materials also on my website, annierubin.com, so check that out as well. And then if you also enjoyed this video, please hit the little subscribe button. These come out about every week. I'm always talking about something related to food, autoimmune disease, nutrition, lifestyle, just giving you tips to help you make your life easier and better. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time.